Okay, so full disclosure, I had a short exchange with Cedric and the Balenciaga team about making it to Oxfordshire from Paris. How was your trip? It was fine?
It was so fine, and I'm so happy I'm here. It feels right and nice.
Okay, I'm delighted you're here too. Everyone is talking about Balenciaga right now because it's kind of managed to pierce the consciousness of fashion across a wide variety of areas, as I just mentioned. And I want to get to that, but first, I want to talk to you about the last 18 months. You're the CEO of this highly watched brand. What were the lessons that you learned running your business at a time when all of the things that Akim and I were just discussing, you have to manage those things every day. What have you learned how to manage in this period of such uncertainty?
A lot of learnings. And the biggest one for me is that the mindset and remaining, of course, agile and have a mindset that allows you to navigate through tough times is key. I am extremely lucky to be part of a group like Kering where you feel empowered and supported, and also to be able to do this duo, tandem, very nice duo with Demna. And his creative vision has been key for us to navigate and be successful. Creativity has not taken a pause at Balenciaga, and I think that has been one of the key learning for me. Never stop. With empathy, but never stop.
Okay. How did the business perform? Can you kind of walk us through the 18 months? What happened? We know what happened generally, but walk us through what happened for you and Balenciaga through all the ups and downs.
We have had a 2020 that was difficult, but we managed to have 2020 at the level of 19 performance-wise.
So it was flat year on year?
Slightly up.
Okay, slightly up.
Yep. Because we have, as I said, not taken a pause from a creative standpoint, and also we relied a lot on the online activities, clienteling, and of course our business in China has exploded. Repatriation of clients have shifted the perception of Balenciaga and the business reality. I also feel our team very fast in the process understood that work from home, being agile, work together, being in sync was key, and we remain client-centric. Also, we have anticipated, thanks to Demna's vision and thanks to the sort of the Balenciaga, the platform we became, we have anticipated, in my view, a lot of those things before something like this has happened. And to walk you through this, I'd like to explain that Balenciaga somehow became a platform. I often say we redefined luxury. Okay, big word. The truth is, what we do, we became a platform where anything is possible, and where innovation comes first, but we can do, you said, couture in 21, Fortnite the same quarter. You can blend the Simpsons and also go for an event in a museum. It's very, I think, shows the elasticity of the brand and the fact that Balenciaga went through this tough 18 months well, because we have been able to build that platform where the right conversations, the modern conversation, and the right shift could happen within the brand. And I'm happy for that culture we fostered and implement.
You're using the word platform, which is normally a word people use to describe technology companies, not almost 103-year-old fashion company. What is it about the brand that enables you to kind of operate like a platform? Is it things that you and Demna have worked on together to kind of platformize Balenciaga, or are there elements of Balenciaga that naturally lent themselves towards becoming more like a platform?
I feel it's, I think Cristobal Balenciaga, the founder, a century ago, started this brand as a couture house in a very classic way, if you look at it from a 2021 perspective. But if you look back at what Balenciaga was back in the days, it was extremely disruptive. It challenged the status quo, challenged expectation, the norms, what we call today elegance. Looking at the archive of Balenciaga was back in the days extremely shocking, daring. disrespectful. And like the cast, for example, of Balenciaga, Mr. Balenciaga was named like monsters. So,
why?
Because they were not the usual women you would see on a couture runway for their measurements, for their height, for their behavior, who they were socially as well. So I think he created a couture house that was a platform in the first place. And what Demna has brought to the brand since his arrival is, okay, the phenomenon success we know, but also that vision that's behind everything. And that's the starting point. I feel it became a platform because we started to talk about who we are, where we're going, the values, the craftsmanship, but not the usual. Like, for example, Balenciaga would clearly partner with World Food Program, make equally strong the values and the aesthetic, challenge the status quo, think outside of the box, and sort of like I think that forward thinking of his is something that in the end made us realize we became a platform. I don't think it was a goal. I think it's just like that, it happened. And when I see now that we can, in the same year, talk about couture, talk about engage with the Simpsons, create something like the Fortnite collaboration, having multiple drops, and all the activation we do, I think that's a stretch that I found extremely interesting. And I call it platform because luxury brand resonates to me in a very nice way, but also a bit old-fashioned, to be honest.
So luxury platform is the way you're thinking about Balenciaga.
Yes.
Okay, part of that platform is your presence in China, as you mentioned. Mm-hmm. And Balenciaga was under-penetrated in China, or relative to some of the other brands. What did you do during the pandemic? I mean, behind us, by the way, is a reprise of the Couture collection that we all saw in Paris in July. So I know you did this big event, just recently, but when you were under-penetrated in terms of retail stores and presence in China, how did you go after that opportunity when, everything was stuck?
So we started before. I don't think it could be an action plan you activate the minute pandemic happens. So when I arrived, I remember the Balenciaga network in China was about 7 stores, and we moved to today roughly 50. So it has been a big retail expansion.
That's over how many years?
5 years.
5 years.
Anniversary, almost today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that. So China has been sort of like, we expanded our presence together with an instant connection with the Chinese audience. And to be honest, this is the country where we see the highest share of ready-to-wear and a very early adoption of trends. So I feel it was a connection somehow. Also, the tone of voice of Balenciaga has been perceived as different, and there is a high demand for being different, express yourself in China. I found it was just, it was obvious. But what's interesting about this is what we've shown to the Chinese audience, but let's say the global audience, is the Balenciaga of today. Demna's vision, fashion forward, edginess, and what we tried to achieve and what he has achieved since he has arrived, it's bring Balenciaga back where he should be and set ourselves for the future. But when you consider where we're coming from and who we are, you said we are more than a century. It's that part we have not shared and we have not told. And what's interesting is that today we have moved, and I think couture was the beginning. We moved to a moment and a phase where we start to, no storytelling, but tell our story. Share a bit more of our history. What people and what our audience know about Balenciaga is about what's new, what's next. That's the question I get. Where we're coming from is not clear. And this is what couture has helped. I read a lot of comments and also a lot of questions. So this is the Balenciaga's first couture collection in July 21. I was like, well, yeah, for Demna, but for the house, it's the 50th. We have had 30 years without, you said in 68, Cristobal Balenciaga closed the house. He felt ready to wear was coming, and he was not embracing this sort of like vibe of moving from couture, what he loved and adored, and he was a couturier in the first place, and what he felt he was. And he didn't want to do the ready-to-wear part, so he sort of shut down the house. For 30 years, the house has no history from a creative standpoint. And what's good is today we are reconnecting, reinventing the history of Balenciaga. Couture was a 50th collection. the event at the Tank Museum in Shanghai was also a way to express and expose ourselves and share our story with our audience. And what we're going to do next week, on December 8th, we're releasing the Fall 22 collection. And Fall 22 collection I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be amazing, guys. It's a collection that's going to be it's called the Lost Tape collection, and it's about a collection from the 90s that never existed.
The 1990s.
Yes.
Okay.
So a collection that where Balenciaga, from a creative standpoint, in the early 90s was not so strong, and Demna is bringing back that piece of history of our brand and bring it to life today. And I think this is great because it's not about, again, storytelling. It's about telling a story.
So it will be the collection.
Make it clear, please.
Yeah, it will be the collection that if Balenciaga was operating as a business in the 1990s, the collection Balenciaga would have put out at that time. Plus,
don't go backwards, always forward. Okay. Demna's vision. So it's something that's going to look modern.
Okay. Talk to me about, the last time you and I sat down in Paris, it was just after the Couture show.
I remember that day.
We were on the street in Paris, sitting in a cafe.
Don't press that button.
I haven't understood from you yet, or from Demna, what was the actual commercial response to Couture? I know it created this earthquake on the internet. The show went everywhere. Everyone saw the images. But from a business standpoint, you had no idea when we sat down how it was going to do. Can you tell us now? How did it perform?
It went super well. We were expecting, we had no expectation. So it's above expectation. It's very good. It's a business. It's good. It's, of course, for us a way to say, again, where we're coming from, who we are, and to make sure Demna's vision that has been implemented on men, women, shoes, bags, and ready-to-wear to the highest part of the pyramid, the part where you can express yourself with the highest craft, the highest creativity, and sort of a new angle. And that was the thing. So was it a business decision? Yes, because I believe in long-term decision, and it was our duty to bring this back to Balenciaga. The legacy of that brand is one of the, I was about to say one of the best legacy ever, and I think it was good that Demna felt it was his mission to do it. So from a business standpoint, I feel it just closed the loop and closed the circle and makes our story full, and I think this is what we meant in doing this.
So, but that sounds like the very expected approach that Couture plays for a big luxury house, right? Because the luxury brands always talk about this pyramid where you have this dream that's crafted at the top, and that dream not only draws new customers and interest and excitement, it is also then, as they say in France, décliné. It's declined through the rest of the collection, and it becomes an idea factory. But does it make money? Will you is it run as a a image-making factory, or is it run as a kind of standalone business?
It's run as an excellence department. Okay. So does it make money? Not much. Is that an investment more than anything? Yes. Do you still need to be cautious on what it costs? Yes. But it's our duty to do it. The platform we became, when I say platform, the word behind it, it's this big brand we became that can afford to do this, to be very direct.
Right.
And I think that was good. It's also a way for us to re-engage with our vision of timelessness. Cristobal Balenciaga was an innovator, the same way Demna is. And at Balenciaga, what's unique, and you said it's a logical, was it a logical, what did you say? Did you say luxury pyramid?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like you décline. Balenciaga is not about décliner. Balenciaga is about creating a shock. Balenciaga is about innovation, doing something new, unexpected, challenge the status quo, and then eventually becomes timeless. And this, I feel, is quite powerful. And I feel Demna has really embodied, understood, and sort of transposed that heritage in a very, very powerful way. So for us, it's not about something timeless because we look backwards, but it's more something timeless because we keep on creating, innovating, and this innovation will eventually become something we look back and say, whew, That was a shock. I found it ugly. And now I find it just like nice, a classic. So a classic or something that I find just like my eyes and sort of like adjusted. I think this is our job, to change and challenge the status quo and make sure the way we do timeless and the way we do couture, if you will, are just ways where we start with a shock, something new and strong and groundbreaking, and then eventually becomes timeless or not.
Okay. About a month ago or so, Facebook sent out a tweet, and it said, after they renamed themselves Meta, short for metaverse, asking Balenciaga what to wear in the metaverse. And of course, like, everyone's talking about the metaverse now. It was a word that wasn't in the kind of common lexicon even a year ago, but now, over the course of the year, it's kind of amazing how it's just become part of everyone's talking about it. And Balenciaga's been quite active in this space. So I'm curious about how, first, like, what have you been doing in that space and why? And second, what are your plans for the metaverse as it goes forward? And, it's almost like the same question around couture, which is like, is that really about a business? Or is it about marketing?
Okay, that's a good one. I saw that tweet, the meta tweet, and I was like, screenshot it. I was like, what's that? And
you didn't know it was coming,
no,
right?
No. And I remember, I said to myself, it's interesting how people, and how in people's mind, Balenciaga is already in the metaverse. And I think that's because of, again, I mentioned him again, but I think it's about Demna. Demna's vision, since he has arrived, and together with him, we have that vision where digital and something new and next level about digital is happening, and we wanted to embrace that. And when we started to think, and I think it was 9 months before we released the Fall 21 collection, we have, I remember it was a pandemic, and Demna phoned and said, okay, we're going to do next a video game.
So that was his idea?
Yeah, of course. For the Fall 21, it's going to be a video game, and I want to do this. It's also a nice way to express ourselves. Things have to become digital even more so. And you hear, in less than 7 months, 8 months, building a video game called The Afterworld that we released for Fall 21, and sort of like, at one point I remember we had 100 developers working on it. We created a video game. I mean, it's crazy.
Inside Balenciaga?
Well, no, we had partners, but they were sort of like fully dedicated. And we were doing body scanning instead of fittings, and everything was just like, wow, it was totally metaverse. But we didn't know it. We were just going there because of his ideas and because of his vision. And it was gradually getting clear for us and for me that we needed to organize ourselves. Second came the Fortnite collaboration. Again, totally in the metaverse. So because of that vision, and thanks to that vision, I think we have challenged ourselves and said, are we good? Are we sort of like organized for what's coming next? And it's true that, of course, gaming is very much into it. That's true. But some others, pillars of our modern culture, let's say, and I'm going to miss a lot, but like work has become so digital. Socialization and dating, all this is just about digital. Shopping is like the online part is extremely... But if you look at it, those are about to become very strong and about to fall or go in the metaverse. But today, the usability is a point that's missing. But when we're going to be a click away from metaverse, all those pillars will just like shift. So what we wanted to do is to understand that we have, thanks to the vision, we have started that process. We also see clearly this is coming, and the usability is making like gigantic steps every day. So when this is going to be ready, we feel it's something that's going to be big. The third thing I want to say is that when we started this discussion, we were like, are we happy to call our followers community or audience? Yes. But it's not exactly what we meant and what we want. Are we happy to call our clients? Or do the clients evolve gradually to users? And now they become more sort of like, and we talk then to user experience. Is that the shift we're talking about? Maybe. Is our community evolving towards something that instead of being a follower, you become a participant? Where we sort of like, and this is totally in the metaverse, because you gradually understand that you're going to create a world, and the world is going to be created around us where people are going to participate more. We're going to level up the interactions. For now, the climax of interaction with a luxury brand is we push content, you like, you comment, you post, or
and then you buy.
You buy, this is great, this climax of interaction. But I think we can get to a next level. And when the interaction is going to get more immersive, more experiential, this is going to open up a lot of opportunities. So for what's next is we've decided that we're going to do just simply organize ourselves and implement and appoint a metaverse business unit director.
MBU director?
MBU director, go for it.
Metaverse Business Unit Director. So what does a Metaverse Business Unit mean in practice?
So everything that's online related, everything that's digital related, and everything that's going to be about the metaverse. But for example, the video game would have been under that scope. So those are, I think, because of the creative vision we have, the mindset we have, but it's more, and you said, was it a marketing coup? Okay, I don't think so. I think it's more to say, we need to set ourselves for success and for the future, to be ready to anticipate the change as opposed to process the change when it's just too late and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? And I think Kering has that power to let us do those kind of things, structure ourselves. And when it gets to innovation, François-Henri Pinault was the one to push me in that direction and say, go for it. Innovation is at the center of Balenciaga, and it was a good move. So I'm happy we're doing this.
That's very interesting, because I think it kind of changes the idea of the creative side as well. And you said, you know, it was Demna's idea to do Fortnite. It was Demna's idea to create the video game. It's like, if this metaverse phenomenon becomes a real thing, it's going to change the expectations on the creative people in our industry as well, in terms of how they can take a brand like Balenciaga and stretch it into virtual spaces, which is like a whole different kind of design process, because the aesthetics, as I've learned in the metaverse, are completely different from like the aesthetics that we're all used to here. So.
Yes, and also from a brand standpoint, Imran, but also from a community, internal community standpoint. Are we going to do boardroom meeting, or is this going to be in the metaverse soon? This I don't know. But what I can say is we better be ready. And because we are the platform we are, it makes sense that we get onto that next journey.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time to come here and doing the isolation last night, because it really means a lot. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.